Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age, and 1 soon-to-be graduate. Today I'm going to be doing kind of a comparison of all of the Erin Condren teacher planners that launched today for EC Insiders. If you are an EC Insider, you can place your order today, and they are doing a 15% off sale for teacher planners and accessories today only. So if you are interested in getting a teacher planner, I would definitely try to put my order in today so you can get that discount. Now, I did do a full review and walkthrough of the new horizontal hexagon layout, and there have been a lot of changes this year. The other 2 planners I have are the vertical planner as well as the homeschool planner. The homeschool planner has not changed at all, and I can leave my full review and walkthrough of that planner that I did when it first came out a couple of years ago. I will leave that linked in the description box for you if you are interested in seeing that. The vertical planner that I have is not this year's design. However, the weekly planning pages, which is the biggest comparison that I would make, have not changed. So the colors will be different this year, depending on if you get the hexagon or the pastel minimal, but the actual layout of those weekly planning pages will not change. So how am I going to do this? I'm not entirely sure. I'm doing this video a little bit early. They have not even come out with the lookbook yet, and I have very little information about launch for Erin Condren, except that it is today. So probably if I had filmed this right before launch instead of several days before, I might have more information for you. There are a lot of new cover designs this year, which are really, really pretty. And then you do have the 2 options for the interior, either the hexagon, which is this one, or the pastel minimal, which I will try and put a picture up for you. They have done away with the focus collection for both the life planner and the teacher planner. I think last year they had the 7x9 teacher planner in the focus line as well as a softbound. They do still have softbound planners, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those as well. The 8x10 softbound options, you cannot add any additional pages, and they are bound. So the layout is essentially the same, except for a couple of small things. So I will talk about those as we're going through the planners. So the first thing that I want to talk about is actually the homeschool planner. And I have been waiting for them to come out with a dated version, but they have not. It is still this same exact layout, and it is an undated planner, so you can start it at any point. And the weekly planning pages are going to look very similar to what the horizontal planner used to look like. But because it's not dated, you can use this as a vertical or a horizontal planner, however you want to. The big difference between this planner and the teacher planner is that it isn't dated, and there are a couple of different things that are more focused on homeschoolers. So for instance, the monthly dashboard, you have your monthly focus, enrichment classes, field trips and outings, supplies and resources needed. And then also up at the beginning, you are going to have some pages that are just not in the teacher planner. Family mission statement, homeschool goals, local and state requirements, school district information, approved curriculum if you need to have your curriculum approved. The 12 monthly boxes have never been dated in the homeschool planner. And then you do still have all of the additional lined pages that you come to expect from an EC planner. And so you can date this however you want. It is a 12-month planner, whereas the horizontal and vertical planners actually give you 13 months. Teacher planners, so just keep that in mind. The tracker section at the back, you have curriculum and resources, reading logs, which I absolutely love because I repurpose my pages, some of the pages in the teacher planner, as a reading log. You have attendance trackers, expense trackers, and then you do have some checklist pages. Now, the checklist pages look very similar to the hexagon design, except for up here, you get to label how you want the checklist pages labeled. The big differences are it's not dated, and you cannot add any additional pages, which is a bummer. This is how it is going to be, and you cannot change it. There are stickers in the back in the mid-century circle design. I think those are still the same stickers that they have. I would have to look because I got this one back when it came out and I just haven't used it. And then this mid-century circle folder, which I absolutely love. And then you can only get one of these sheet protectors. You can't get additional ones like you can with the teacher planner. Okay, so that is the homeschool planner, and I thought it was funny because when I chose my cover for this year's planner, I chose the same one, except it's blue instead of purple. I think they still have this cover choice as well, but I did think that that was funny. So now to get into the vertical and the horizontal. So because I have last year's vertical, I am going to be kind of talking mostly from this current year's horizontal planner as far as the beginning pages go. So the beginning pages are going to look exactly the same if you get the vertical or the horizontal in hexagon. If you get the pastel minimal interior, it is going to be a little bit different, and I have seen a couple of things that make me not want to get the pastel minimal design, and I will share those when I get to them. But right off, you're going to see that this About Me is going to be the same in both the horizontal and the vertical planner. You're going to still have your communication log, still have the mini monthly calendars, the same exact layout, and then the 12 boxes are going to be not labeled anymore, which is absolutely amazing. And the softbound planner has all of these same sections at the beginning. It just does not have tabs. And because it's 8 by 10, the sizing is just a little bit different. So for instance, in the communication log, you have 34 lines on each page in the coiled version, but in the softbound version, it's only 30. So you lose a few lines for that. And then the same thing with these monthly boxes. Here you have 10 lines, but in the softbound you only have 8. So you still have the same layout, but just a couple fewer lines because of the size of the planner. And then you are going to still have the bell schedule. Again, I have not seen the softbound in person, but I'm assuming that this is still going to be in there. The bell schedule and the spending summary, probably 4 fewer lines on the spending summary and maybe fewer lines in the notes section. I can't imagine that they would take away hours for the bell schedule. That doesn't seem to make sense. So I'm assuming that you would probably just have maybe 6 or 7 lines of note space and cut off the bottom because of the 8 by 10 size. But if you're in the vertical, it's going to be exactly the same. And then you get to your notes pages. So this is going to be different between the softbound and the coiled teacher planners. The softbound does not have line space between the months. It does have the dashboard layout, but it doesn't have this line space that comes at the end of each month or the start of the next month. Instead of the line pages between the months, you are going to get 12 line pages at the end of the book. So you do still have 1 line page per month if you want to break it down that way, but you don't get all of the extra note space. Now, the big difference that I want to point out between the hexagon and the pastel minimal is this page right here. So in the hexagon, you're just having the little hexagon design up at the top here. But in the pastel minimal, from what I've seen online, you are getting about 1.5 inches of the side of this page is going to be block color with the month labeled right here. It is still tabbed, but you are getting a full block of color here, so the line space kind of stops, I would say right here at the top of this line. I'm not sure if you can see that, if it's coming through on my camera. So that was interesting to me and not something that I have seen before because I always have had this full page. So I would just keep that in mind. If you like to have a full notes page and you get the pastel minimal, on the tab page, it's going to be cut off about right here. Let me see if I have my ruler. So it's probably about like that. That's probably not straight, but it's this much solid color of whatever the month tab is with the month listed down the side. So you're not really going to be able to use this section. You would only be able to use kind of like a narrower section of line space. That was one big change between the hexagon and the pastel minimal that I wanted to point out. But as far as the vertical versus the horizontal, you're going to have your same monthly calendar. It's the weekly planning pages that are different. And so the horizontal has had a big upgrade this year in the fact that this is no longer a notes column. Now this is what they're saying, a 7th subject, or it can be anything that you want it to be. So instead of in previous years, this is how the horizontal looked with this note section, and then your dates down the side here, and you have 6 columns for subjects and then notes. Now, instead of that, you have 7 columns for notes, and you still have your dates down the side. Okay, so the vertical layout has not changed, and I am assuming that the colors, except for December, are going to be the same for the hexagon, because that's typically, that was the only color change that they made this year. So this is going to look exactly the same, only the dates are going to obviously be 2025, not 2024. So you're still going to have your top priorities, meetings, and sort of a to-do list here. You have 6 sections for subjects, or however you want to do it, and you still have these large Saturday, Sunday columns. I was thinking they might make it into 1 column of Saturday and Sunday, but they did not. And so the difference between the vertical and the horizontal, as far as boxes go, you have 1 more line in the horizontal than in the vertical. And I think that that is just because you have 6 subjects down the left instead of the 5 dates, 5 days down the left. So that's why you have 1 less line in the vertical. Now, if you are looking at the soft bound horizontal planner, you're going to have 6 lines instead of 7. So the vertical has 6 lines already. I'm not sure what the vertical soft bound looks like. If they, instead of 6, have 5 because of the smaller planner size, I'm not sure. I know that the soft bound you are going to be able to get in vertical this year, and I think last year it was only in horizontal, and I think in years past it's only been in horizontal, but this year you also have the vertical option for soft bound. But I'm not entirely sure if the lines will match up. They're just maybe skinnier. My guess is that instead of 6 lines in the vertical, you'll have 5 lines in the soft bound. But as far as layout goes, this is how it is going to look for your vertical. The vertical layout has not changed at all. Your horizontal layout has changed a little bit just with the addition of this 7th subject instead of a straight note section. It can still be used as a note section, but it doesn't have to be. And then that is how it's going to be for all of the months. All of the monthly calendars are going to be exactly the same. In the hexagon, horizontal or vertical. Again, you do get the 13th month, which is July. And then the only other thing that is different this year is that you can also add lined or productivity pages in the back. You can also add more checklist pages or the extracurricular pages that they offered last year, but that is only an option in the horizontal and vertical teacher planner. It is not an option in the homeschool planner, and it is not an option in the softbound planners. So again, the softbound planners do not have the lined pages at the end of each month. Instead, you have your dashboard layout, which let me show you the correct one here instead of last year's vertical. So you get to the end of the month, and then typically you have 2 line pages. In the softbound, you do not have this. You do still have this section, this dashboard section, but in the softbound, your line pages, you have 12 are at the back. And I believe the checklist, the number of checklist lines is fewer in the softbound too, but I didn't count it up, so I'm not entirely sure. What am I going to order on launch day? I am undecided if I am going to use the normal teacher planner. I am inclined to use this teacher planner, this particular one, this horizontal, because this is what I've been using for 10 years and I'm very comfortable with it. And I know that I have a lot of planning to do for both Jack and Lucy, because Jack is in high school and Lucy's going into 5th grade. There's a lot of resources that we'll be working on each week. And so I could definitely envision using 2 to 3 columns for Lucy and 2 to 3 columns for Jack, and then still having like a notes column, having space to write extra projects or any reverse record keeping for the week, which most of the time I don't have space for in my weekly planning. I instead have to use these extra notes pages, which is why I'm so thankful that there are so many notes pages in the coiled planner. But I might end up seeing if the softbound planner would be enough space, because I'm only planning for 2. It's funny because when I first started using the Erin Condren teacher planner back in 2015, I was only planning for 2 students and they were both early elementary students. So the fact that we have so much more work now makes me think that maybe I will still need all of this space, but maybe I won't. And so I am planning on getting the beautiful sapphire cover. It's like that deep blue color with the hexagon. Oh, you know what? Guys, I am just looking through some information that Erin Condren sent me, and I was so excited about the sapphire cover. And now I'm seeing that sapphire cover only comes in the vertical interior. So if I want the horizontal, I have to get the hexagon cover. Or alternatively, I could get the bouquet cover with the pastel minimal, which I'm not going to like that. So you know what? I thought I was going to buy a softbound, and I'm really glad that I'm seeing this because I'm not sure I'm going to get one. I do really like the hexagon cover, but I'm not sure that I want that as my cover for my teacher planner. So that's really interesting. Oh, I'm kind of bummed now because I saw that sapphire cover and I just assumed that I could get the horizontal interior. I'm kind of hoping that that is not true, that you can also get the horizontal. Oh man. Okay, well this is going to be interesting then. I'm not sure I'm going to need to place a large order. I do have a bunch of sticker sheets that I'm planning on getting, and I am also planning to get some of the accessories. They have scaled way back with the accessories again. I will definitely be getting that Too Cool for School sticker book. I get one every year, and I probably will also, if they are still available, get the Too Cool for School edition 5, which has the transparent dot stickers, which I use in the mini monthly calendars at the beginning to plan out all of our vacations and days off and kind of the structure of our year as a whole. Wow, okay. I really was expecting to get that sapphire planner, but it only comes in vertical. Okay, all right. This is what happens when you just film videos on the spur of the moment. Okay, so potentially I will get a softbound planner. I might just still get the hexagon horizontal planner just to see the differences between the coiled and the softbound version. But oh man, I really wanted that blue planner. Okay, so I am going to get the Too Cool for School sticker book. I am most likely going to be getting the teacher sticky notes booklet. I'm really bummed that they've done away with all of the sticky notes like this, because these list sticky notes I use all of the time. I usually get all of the varieties of these sticky notes that I can, but they don't offer these anymore, and I'm not even sure that they have this product anymore. I am probably still going to get the teacher sticky notes booklet because it looks the most similar to this, and I do use a ton of sticky notes when I'm planning out our homeschool year. There's just so much moving around of things. I most likely will be getting the expandable file folders as well because I like to use those. I like to use expandable file folders for my kids to put all of their work that I'm keeping for their reviews kind of separate from everything else. I keep everything, but I do pull out specific examples. And then the only other thing that I'm thinking I might try is the Slim Teacher Workbook. And that is, I believe, similar to this. This is the B6 monthly calendar. And I know that they are trying to do some other Japanese style paper, although mine said Korean paper, so I don't know. I don't know if it's Japanese or Korean paper. My thinking is that it's Japanese paper because that's what it says online. Anyways, the Slim Teacher Workbook is for lesson planning and it's 7x9, but it's still, I think it's using this paper. And I did a pen test with this paper with some of the dual tip markers and highlighters that I use, and it is bleeding through a little bit on the medium size, not on the fine tip size. And my highlighters weren't as bad for bleed through, but that is something that I kind of want to keep in mind. If I'm just using like a black pen, it might not matter. And in fact, let me, so the Papermate Flare is not bleeding through. There is shadowing, but there's always shadowing with this type of paper, but it's not bleeding through. So perhaps it won't be that big of a deal as long as I'm not using a lot of colored pens, but I do use a lot of highlighters. So unsure on that too. Okay, this is becoming a, I don't know what I'm going to get. I came in thinking I was going to get the Sapphire Softbound, and now I don't think I'm going to if that's only in the vertical option, but it's so pretty. And if you like a vertical teacher planner, I'm definitely going to recommend it. I will put up some pictures so that you can see it. It's so, so nice and it looks really classy. So I'm thinking definitely I'm going to get a couple of the sticky note booklets, the teacher sticky note booklets, because they have redesigned a lot of their stickers and sticky notes and everything so that they fit in specific boxes and on specific sections of the planners, both the life planner and the teacher planner. So I think that is really helpful. And again, I can always use a lot of sticky notes. I do kind of wish that they had white for the line sticky notes like this, because I just find that when I'm writing on the sticky notes that have a background color, my pens always slip on them or smudge. So I don't prefer that, but we will see. Again, I don't really know. I don't really know. Definitely going to be getting the expandable file folders. I really like that. Those have 3 different sections and some elastic enclosures or to keep it all attached. So that will be good. And then the Slim Teacher Notebook, it is 7x9. I really like that it's just a notebook of lesson plans. And the reason that I like that is because I'm doing all of Jack's high school courses from scratch this year. And I feel like that might be helpful for me. So I might get that to try out, but we will see. I'm still unsure, but I definitely will be getting the sticker books and the sticky notes. So, gosh, I really wanted that sapphire blue planner, but that's not going to cut it this year for me. So if you have questions about the differences between the horizontal and the vertical before you place your order, please let me know. I will answer whatever I can for you. Just know that last year's layout of the vertical has not changed. It is exactly the same. The only difference is going to be the December color is not going to be the lime green anymore. It's going to be that apple green, which is the same as the life planner. And that's for the hexagon. If you are looking at the pastel minimal, remember that your tabbed page, your tabbed monthly page is going to say, it's going to be a block of color with June right here. So you're going to have a smaller, narrower section for line space. But everything else between the vertical and the horizontal are exactly the same. You're still getting your 2 line pages at the end of each month before you go into the dashboard layout for the next month. You're still going to have your monthly calendar. It's not going to have any holidays on it. You're still going to get the holiday stickers in the back. You're still getting the same pocket that you get for all the coiled planners, getting the same stickers. The stickers actually might be different for the pastel minimal. They may be pastel stickers. I did notice that the pastel minimal has 12 unique tab colors. Oftentimes when they will do pastel colors, like for the bouquet design for the life planner, they have 6 colorways and they repeat. So July through December are 6 different colors, and then January through June repeat the colors. But with the pastel minimal, it's 12 unique colors. So I think that that is everything for my little planner chat with you guys. It'll be a surprise what I get. I thought that I had a whole list. In fact, I have a whole list sitting right next to me of things that I'm going to buy. But as I just went through this little PDF that EC had sent to me before I did my initial review, I'm just now seeing that the sapphire cover is only going to be in the hexagon vertical interior. So it'll be a surprise. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this little chatty video. Again, if you have questions, please let me know. I will be around today. I would be happy to answer any questions. This does not start before July. So I know in the life planners, they gave you May and June. They are not giving you May and June. It starts, the earliest month it will start is July 2025. I believe that the dates that you can get are July through June, which is actually July through July, August through August, September through September, or January through December. But I'm excited. This is always my favorite launch, the teacher planner launch, and I am really looking forward to moving into my teacher planner, which as it is right now, I think it's going to be this one, unless I do decide to get that hexagon horizontal and see if I like that one better. So it'll be a surprise when we when we start planning out the year, but I will be buying all kinds of stickers like I normally do and setting up the planner with you guys hopefully soon. So if you are shopping today, let me know what you're getting. If you want to use my affiliate link, I would be so appreciative. And if you do use my affiliate link, if you don't mind going the extra step of also filling out my Google form so I can get credit for it, I would be very, very grateful to you. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.